Hi, this is Simon Candy from AcousticGuitarLessonsOnline.net, and in today's video you're going to learn the fundamentals of music theory. Now, knowing the basics will take you a long way. In fact, in a lot of cases, the fundamentals, the basics, is all you need to know. Now, understanding the music you listen to enables you to be able to take the things you like and apply them to your own playing. So it's hugely beneficial to have the basics of music theory down. But there is one huge caveat here, and that is you must be able to take what you learn and apply it to the fretboard, to your guitar. Otherwise, it's just theory and it's useless to you. So in this lesson, we're going to look at some core fundamental theory for music in general, but more importantly, how to relate it to the instrument. We'll go through some of the key things you need to know that make up, the songs and the music that you listen to. So let's get to it. Now, music is very much a language, or very much like a language. Now, some people like that analogy, others don't so much. I like it because there's a lot we can draw, a lot of parallels we can draw. It's not a perfect analogy, but I think it helps a lot because we're all familiar with language. So like any language, we begin with the alphabet. So the musical alphabet. We need to know the musical alphabet. And it's very simple. We've got 7 natural notes: A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And then we have 5 what we call accidentals. And so the accidentals can be named via 2 different names. They can have a name that is a sharp note or a flat note. And we'll relate it to the fretboard in a moment because that's the all-important part, of course. But if we just look at it in pure theory for the moment, we've got accidentals between every note pair except for B and C and E and F. Okay, we never have a flat or a sharp between B and C, E and F. Every other note has a flat or a sharp. So how does that relate to the fretboard? Well, one moving consecutively through the alphabet, A to A sharp, B flat to B to C, etc., is 1 fret on the guitar. 1 shift, 1 fret. Okay, so if I grab an A note on the 2nd string of the guitar, that's an A note there, and I move up 1 fret, it's now A sharp. We could call it B flat too. Next note would be B. Then we'd have C. No sharp between B and C, so every B note follows C. Then C sharp or D flat, D, D sharp or E flat, E. Here's the other point where we don't get a flat or sharp. It's just E straight to F. Then F sharp, G flat, G, G sharp or A flat, and back to A. So we want to see how that relates on our fretboard. It doesn't sound too musical, but we need to be able to relate that to our instrument. There's no point just knowing and reciting the alphabet. That'd be like reciting the English alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, etc., but not knowing how to put any of it together. So you'll notice that the A sharp or B flat, for example, if we move 1 up from an A or any natural note, we sharp it. So A to A sharp. Or we might have D to D sharp. The only time it's not going to be the case is B to C and E to F. But if we had a B note and we moved it back 1 fret, we could call it B flat. Or if we had the D note and we moved it back 1 fret, we could call it D flat. So it really depends on the key you're in and factors that will come down the track. You just want to know it by both names at the moment. And then, if I pick another A note on the guitar, it would be the same thing. A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, etc. Or an A on the bottom string, any A note, move up chromatically by fret, and we move up 1 note at a time in the musical alphabet. Now, if you are thinking, how do I know where my A notes are and how do I know where the note names are on the guitar? I've got a great video that will help with you. I'll link to it right now in the top right corner of this video, and that's all about a system for naming notes on the guitar. It can look very daunting, but it can be made a whole lot simpler if you've got a particular strategy to follow. Just like in the English alphabet, we can put letters together to create words. In the musical alphabet, we grab notes together to create scales. Families of sound, if you like. We group in a particular way. One of the most important scale is the major scale. Okay, everything can be tracked back to the major scale. It's like the centerpiece, and everything can relate back to it. If it's not directly from it, it will certainly relate to it. So the major scale is the key one to start with. So it's got a formula that goes whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Now what the hell does that mean? Whole is referring to a whole step, and a whole step is skipping over a note in the alphabet. So if I've got the A note and I go a whole step above the A, I skip over A sharp, I get to B. Then, according to the formula for my major scale, I've got to go another whole step. So from B, I go over C and get to C sharp. I call it C sharp for the key of A. A is a key that has sharp notes, so we don't call it D flat, we call it C sharp. Then the formula tells us to go a half step. So a half step would naturally be the very next note in the alphabet. So that will be D in this case. Then we've got 3 whole steps to go. So D to E is a whole step, E to F sharp is a whole step, F sharp to G sharp is a whole step, and then we just need a half step to return back to A. That's the formula for any major scale. So it's whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So if I apply that to the fretboard, a whole step is 2 frets. Remember, just consecutive notes in the musical alphabet is 1 fret on the guitar. So if we're going and skipping over 1, then it's going to be 2 frets. A whole step is 2 frets, a half step is 1 fret. So if I take an A note and I go up a whole step, I get the B. If I go up another whole step, I get C sharp. Then half step to D, whole step to E, whole step to F sharp, whole step to G sharp, and there's the A. And I'm sure you recognize that sound. We all know the sound of the major scale, even if we can't label it as the major scale. So I could go from any A note, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. Or in fact, I could go from any note. I could just randomly pick a note. I don't even need to know what the name of this note is. I could play a major scale just by following that formula. I go a whole step, half, whole, 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 half. Or maybe I grab this note. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So they're all major scales. They've all got the same sound, they're just different keys. Then of course we learn scale patterns where we can play them in a single position, and that all is well and good. But at the moment, we just want to apply the music theory to the fretboard in a really rudimentary way, so we can just see it from the ground up. That's really, really important. Now, the other scale is the minor scale. That's a very important scale to know too, and it's got a slightly different formula. So the minor scale is going to be whole, half, whole, whole, half, whole, whole. If we take it from the A note again, it's A, we go up a whole step, B, half step, C, whole step, D, whole step, E, half step, F, whole step, G, whole step, A. So the A minor scale is all natural notes, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So let's take that to the fretboard. Now remember, we're not just seeing the scales when we play them on the fretboard, we're hearing them. So we've got the theory, we've got to see it as a visual, and we've also got to hear it. Really, really important. So if we take the A note and we apply this formula for the minor scale, we get the whole step to B, half step to C, whole to D, whole to E, half to F, whole to G, half to A, and then we whole to A, sorry. So we're not studying theory for a week or a month or reading a book or whatever. We're taking a little thing and we're immediately applying it to the fretboard. That's the key, immediately. So you can see it and you can hear it. The next part that you want to look at, really important of course, is chords. So just like, again, just weighing in on this or leaning in on this analogy with language, you know, we have letters of the alphabet that come together to create words, or we can have letters from the scale or the alphabet as a whole come together to create chords, or the notes from the alphabet. There's many, many chords, but the core chords are major and minor again, and we call them triads, 3-note chords. And traditional harmony is tertian harmony, and what that means is we're stacking thirds. And thirds is the interval between the notes of the chord, the distance, okay? An interval is just simply the distance between any 2 pitches. It can be small, it can be large. Either way, it's a particular type of interval. So traditional harmony, all the basic chords you hear in music are stacked thirds. So that's the theory of it. Let's apply it. Well, let's first apply it to the musical alphabet, and then we'll apply it to the guitar, okay? So if we, again, take our A note and we want to build a major triad, we start from the A and we go up a major third. So that is going from the A note up to the C sharp. It's 4 half steps. Remember, we were talking about whole and half steps before? 4 half steps make a major third. So, you know, A to A sharp to B to C sharp. 4 half steps, A to C sharp. That's stacking a third on top of the A note. And then we need to go up a minor third. That's 3 half steps. So from the C sharp. So C sharp to D, D sharp to E, E will be the third note in our A chord. So any major chord, any major triad is a 4 plus a 3. 4 half steps plus 3 half steps. So as we just did there, A up to C sharp to E, and stacking them, meaning we play them at the same time. So if we take that to the guitar, let's just play them separately first. Okay, so here's our A note. We go up 4 half steps. There's our C sharp, and we go up another 4 half steps. Sorry, 3 half steps. We get to E. It's 4 plus 3, and of course 4 half steps equal 4 frets. So from 2 to 6 to get the C sharp, and 3 more up to 9 to get the E. Now, we can play it like that and we hear it. That's really important. Remember, we want to see it and hear it. And it can look many ways on a guitar. Now, obviously, if I play it like this, I'm arpeggiating it, and that's one thing you can do with chords. But I can't play them together in that permutation because they're all on one string. But I could take the A here, and instead of playing the C sharp here, I can play it here on the second string. And instead of playing the E all the way up here, I can play the open E string. Now there's an A major triad. Or I could play it here. Okay, so there's different places that you can play it. The point is that, we want to be able to understand how chords are built. We don't want to just blindly learn open chord shapes and bar chord shapes. That's all fine to do, but we want to understand chords so we can build our own chords, and everything starts from the triad, and then we can add to it if we want to extend the chord. And the minor chord is very similar. It's the other way around, stacked thirds, but it's the 3 half steps followed by 4 half steps. So if I go back to my A in the musical alphabet, A up 3 half steps takes you to C, a further 4 takes you to E. So A, go up 3 half steps, C, and up 4, E. Okay, here's that sort of sadder sound. You'll notice it's very similar to the major triad. In fact, it's got a flat third. It's the third note has been flatted, but both chords have the A and the E. These are things we discover when we apply it to the guitar. So, we could take that triad that we had earlier and simply drop the C sharp down to a C. Now we've got the A minor triad, or we could take it and play it here. Relating it to the fretboard is so important. Then you're naming notes as you do it, you're working out note names, all these things that will really help you understand the fretboard. You've got to get in there, get under the bonnet and work with it and apply it immediately. As soon as you learn something, immediately apply it to the instrument as best you can. Okay, so major and minor chords, major and minor triads, really, really important. And I've got some videos on triads on my channel. There's several, but I'll link to one right now if you want to get into triads and how to find them on the fretboard and all sorts of things. Okay, so check out that video if you want to take that further. Now, the other thing you really want to understand, and this will bring it all together, is diatonic harmony. So what does that mean? Well, basically, we're talking about chords and notes, how notes and chords relate to each other. So coming back to the keys, if we look at the key of A major, okay, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. If you look carefully there, you'll see that the A major chord lives inside that key. Okay, see there, we've got the A, we've got the C sharp, we've got the E note. It's inside the key. So all the notes of an A major chord are in the key of A major, are in the scale of A major. So therefore we say A major is diatonic to the key of A. Okay, the A major chord is diatonic to the key of A major. Now that might kind of sound obvious, perhaps. A major matches A major, but it's also diatonic to other keys. So if we look at the key of D major, notice that the A major chord also lives inside the D, the key of D. We've got the A, it's the 5th note, but it's still there. You've got the C sharp, it's the 7th note, but it's there. And you've got the E, which is the 2nd note there in the key. So it's also in the key of D. However, it functions differently. In the key of A, it's the 1 chord. It starts on the 1, it's called a 1 chord. In the key of D, it starts on the 5th note, so it's called the 5 chord of D. A also lives inside the key of E major. So if we have a look at the key of E major here, you see there's A is the 4th note, C sharp is the 6th, and E is, of course, the root note. So it's also diatonic to the key of E. Okay, so any major chord can be diatonic to 3 different major keys. But like D, A functions differently again in the key of E. It's the 4 chord. It starts, the root is the 4th note. So it's got a different sound about it in the context of the key of E major versus the key of D major, and of course the key of A major. Now, if we look at the key of A major, there's other chords in the key that are diatonic to the key. We won't go really deep into this because it'll just make it too long, but just know that from the 2nd note of the key of A major, you've got a B, right? From that note, we can build a chord. And if we stay diatonic to the key and we stack thirds, so remember, it's stacking thirds. So if we go up a third, we get B to D. And if we go up another third from there, we get to F sharp. So B, D, and F sharp make up a B minor chord. It's 3 plus 4. If you do the same from C sharp, you just stack the thirds. So basically you take the 3rd note here, C sharp, and you skip over, what do you get? You get E. Skip over again, what do you get? You get G sharp. So that makes a C sharp minor chord. So C sharp minor is also diatonic to the key of A. And if we do the same with D, D to F sharp to A, skipping a note each time, so we build in, we're stacking thirds, that gives us a major chord, D major. We do the same from E, E, skip across, G sharp, skip again, B. We get an E major chord. You've got F sharp, and you go to A, then you skip into the next octave if you like to get to the C sharp. There's an F sharp minor chord. And finally, the 7th is a little bit different. If you put it together, G sharp, B, and D, it's a G sharp diminished chord. Leave that one to the side for the moment. It doesn't really matter. But the point is, what I'm trying to demonstrate here is that we have 7 chords that live inside any major key. And those chords are said to be diatonic to the key because the notes of the chord also belong to the notes of the key. Omitting the 7th chord, if we take that to the guitar, we go, okay, we don't have to work out all the note names here. If you know those chords, you can go, okay, A major, B minor, C sharp minor, D major, E major, F sharp minor. Let's forget the diminished and come back to A. Those are the diatonic chords in A major, and any song in the key of A major is going to be made up of a combination of those chords. You might have something like an A, that'd be chord of 1 chord to a 5 chord. You might go 6 chord, F sharp minor, and D is the 4 chord. So if you hear numbers related to chord progressions, it's because it's how it sits, how it functions in the key. A is from the 1. What did we have there? E is from the 5. F sharp is from the 6. It's a minor chord. D is a major chord. And you'll find with a major key, the major chords are always 1, 4, 5. Minor chords will be the 2, the 3, and the 6, with the diminished on the 7th. That is true for any major key. So if you really learn the anatomy of A major, then you're going to know it for all the other keys. You just got to learn their note names and their diatonic chords, and you can get them with a combination of open and bar chords. So you can write songs. You can put chords together that make sense because you know how they work and you'll be very deliberate with the sounds you want, and you can understand the songs you see and how they're constructed with the chord progressions. And it's the same for the minor key. So without going through all the steps again, just know that if we look at the diatonic chords of A minor, you get A minor, you get the diminished chord on 2, B diminished, you get C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, and that will be true for any minor key. So if we hear that on the guitar, we've got A minor, then we have the B half diminished, but we'll again leave that. C major, you've got D minor, E minor, F major, G major, and back to A minor. So for a chord progression in A minor, you might go A minor, you could go to an F chord, you could go to a C chord, and you could go to a G chord if you want. That's a common minor chord progression. If you like this video, then you'll love this ebook audio from my Jazz Concepts for Acoustic Guitar series titled Arpeggios. In this ebook, you will learn exactly what arpeggios are, how to visualize them on the fretboard, and several ways to use them in your guitar playing. I will run you through 3 key major arpeggio shapes and 3 key minor arpeggio shapes, and how each of these relate to each other on the fretboard so you can easily access them in your playing. Not only will you learn the conventional way of applying arpeggios to your guitar playing, but I will also show you how to instantly multiply your soloing possibilities with each arpeggio shape through arpeggio superimposition. It sounds complicated, but it's super simple. I will not only show you how all this stuff works on the fretboard, but also explain it to you so you can understand the theory behind it all. So click the link in the description below this video and download your free ebook audio, Jazz Concepts for Acoustic Guitar Arpeggios. You'll have it in your inbox within minutes. Let me know in the comments below what acoustic guitar topics you'd like to see covered in future videos. I read the comments. I love the suggestions that you put forward. Many of them do become videos, so don't be shy. If you want to see something, drop us a line and I'll be sure to get to it. If you like this video, then hit that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and hit the all-important notification bell button so YouTube can tell you when I've released a new video, which will be every single week. Thank you so much for being here. This is Simon Candy from AcousticGuitarLessonsOnline.net. As always, I really do appreciate you taking time to check out my videos. I hope they help your playing, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next one.